Hey, this is Scott at Fire Breathing Christian, and for those who haven't heard yet, the recent release of DC's Heroes in Crisis book is putting DC Comics itself into a bit of a crisis mode, along with the other SJW types that promote this sort of thing. And the reason being is, in typical SJW fashion, it's a depressing, emotion-driven tale of safe spaces and the need for them, basically. And anyway, even we're going to touch on a couple articles here. One's at IGN and another one's at comicbook.com. Even places like these that would normally carry the water for and enthusiastically support the garbage that's put out these days by DC and Marvel and an SJW light, even they, because of the huge fan backlash against this stuff, even they have posted negative, suspicious reviews and interactions with this particular book. I'm going to read through a couple here from the IGN article first. DC's Heroes in Crisis is a brutal read. Heroes in Crisis #1 review. Tragedy hits home for DC's heroes. And here's where the body begins. Sometimes there's a huge difference between a story that's well executed and a story that's actually enjoyable to read. And this whole enjoyable to read part, this is lost. A whole lot of SJW mythology and their approach to narratives is insisting upon your indulging in and supporting whatever product is they're cranking out as they associate the product with their view of culture, nature, progress, all that. Your enjoyment is really not key at all. It's a matter of your fidelity to their cause. Your submission to their narrative is being so important that you need to consume their entertainment products, even if they're not entertaining or fun or good. They're right, quote unquote, from the SJW narrative perspective. And therefore, not only are they worthy of your support, but they must have your support, you see. And so if you don't buy their comics, watch their movies, read their books, it's because you have a fundamental problem of character, you know. Anyway, so that's the idea. So the enjoyable to read thing, not a surprising casualty here. And it's been a part of SJW material for years now in a flagrant fashion in a lot of Marvel and DC titles, but it's not been, that aspect's not noticed by most of the SJW media that's covering this stuff. So it's interesting that IGN would point that out right at the get-go. Heroes in Crisis #1 illustrates that gulf about as well as any comic in recent memory. So they're saying there's a wide gap here in between this idea of well-executed and enjoyable. This is a series featuring some of the best creators currently working at DC, telling a very intimate, emotionally charged tale of tragedies striking the superhero community. The first issue is also unpleasant and even somewhat off-putting to its impact on the DCU, the DC universe. Off-putting in its impact. And this off-putting impact, this is what SJWs have been doing to DC and Marvel for many, many years now. And this is the feedback. That's why Comicsgate exists. Comicsgate came along because of the off-putting impact that rather than changing course with the off-putting impact of SJW narratives, they just double down on them and do more of the same and then complain or attack the rapidly shrinking paying customer base as a bunch of, intolerant, non-progressive Neanderthals, sexist, racist, blancophobes. So that's what makes this comic and the subsequent coverage in these articles kind of encouraging in a way. It's because these people are having to acknowledge realities that they've been denying for many, many, many years, and they won't associate with other books that are having basically the same problems. Okay, to continue with the article, but no doubt that was the intention. And again, there you go, off-putting in its impact on the DCU. But no doubt that was the intention. This is an industry dominated by people and satellite organizations like IGN who are committed to the suicide of their industry. They're going to ride it into the ground for the sake of their beloved religious cause, which is SJW identity politics. They're going to do it, and they will. They will intentionally have a negative impact on anything they touch if they believe it furthers their, or is true. It doesn't even necessarily have to further. It just has to be true to their religion, their SJW culty religion. That's what's going on here. So Heroes in Crisis introduces Sanctuary, the safe space planet, basically, or the safe space place. A refuge built by Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman to serve as a safe haven for heroes weighed down by the physical and psychological pressures of the job. Unfortunately, as the series opens, Sanctuary has been rocked by a mass murder, transforming a place of healing into one of bloodshed. So the safe space isn't so safe. And isn't that terrifying? That's horrible. And that's SJW. This is so thick and deep in the SJW sewage, and these people don't notice at all because that's the sewage they swim in. So I encourage you to check out the rest of the IGN article. It really is noteworthy and encouraging for its acknowledgement. And I'm not saying this is necessarily going to be the watershed moment where now they're going to acknowledge the truth of all these other titles that they keep trying to prop up. No. But this one's just been so poorly received by fans, overwhelmingly hating on the book, that they have to pretend to care about these things, at least for the discussion of this one comic. They'll probably go right back to their normal denial and rank SJW propaganda approach to things later. But for now, it's a noteworthy article in that context. And then that ties in here with the from September 26th, the comicbook.com article. Review, Heroes in Crisis #1 provides little substance within a charged and stylish story. There is seemingly a consensus on what a serious superhero comic should look like. Characters will die without great fanfare. Batman, Superman, and other popular heroes will wear grimaces and bow their heads. Grave pronouncements about the tragic nature of being a superhero will arrive once every few pages. All of the pageantry and spectacle of a shared universe will be brought to half-mast in order to show readers just how serious this subject is, even when it takes place in the world of superheroes. Heroes in Crisis #1 looks like a serious superhero comic. The problem is that beneath all of its affectation, there is shockingly little substance in its approach to trauma. Interesting. Shockingly little substance. So it's all about maybe the emotion. Wow. Who's ever heard of SJWs focusing on emotion over substance, right? Interesting that you're noticing comicbook.com. The issue hinges on a shocking murder mystery, one that is bound to capture headlines, provoke fans, and draw out comparisons to the similarly serious miniseries Identity Crisis. That comparison is primarily superficial, as Heroes in Crisis is focused on a very different set of ideas, albeit with familiar visual cues and dramatic tone. All right, I'm not going to dive deeper into the review here. I would encourage you to check it out. But Heroes in Crisis it's a moment that we should note as we plot the course here forward, and we see and are thankful for things like Comicsgate coming along, and we see how DC's commitment and Marvel's commitment as well to these SJW narratives and approaches to art, drama, heroism, comic books, how it's dragging them down, and it's like they refuse to give it up. They're holding an anvil that is SJW worldview, and they're going to hold it until it takes them to the bottom of the ocean. And then the only thing that's going to have them let go of that anvil is when they're dead. That's it. That seems to be the case. I hope that's not so. I'd much rather see, an awakening, an awareness, a realization of errors being made, and corrections. That's my hope for DC and Marvel both. But apparently, this is just what they're going to do again and again and again. And this is, again, remember in the DC context, DC just went through a big rebirth thing where they were supposed to try to lighten things up and salvage their tarnished and sinking image. And then they dive into this kind of thing. And it is what it is. And what it is, and the biggest silver lining in this situation is Comicsgate and independent comics are just the door is being opened wider and wider. The path is being made more and more clear. The runway is being lit more and more dramatically for alternatives to Marvel and DC Comics. So in a very real sense, while DC Comics is in crisis and should be, on the other side of that crisis, very good things are coming for Comicsgate and similar approaches to heroes in comic books. If you appreciated this video and you want to support what we're doing, please like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. If you're watching this on YouTube, please hit the little bell icon so that you can be notified every time we post a new video, which we're hoping to do regularly on a daily basis from here on out on this subject and related subjects. Thank you very much for your support. Without it, we can't continue to do this.